Welcome into the High School Fan Zone on Wednesday, April 9th. It is springtime. The weather finally feels like springtime. I was just talking about that with a couple of our guests here. We're going to jump into the Tiger Fan Zone. Reminder, Wednesday nights are Friendship, Lubbock, Cooper, and Liberty. In that order, we'll be here from 6 to 7. And this is all track tonight. We're going to talk Friendship track with the ladies we have up here now. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a minute by voice if you're listening on radio so you know who's who. We're going to have Devin Ramby and a couple of his Lubbock Cooper athletes in, and then Hunter Dubray and a couple of his athletes in after that. And the reason we're talking so much track, we talked a lot of track Monday night too, is it's area meet week, which for Friendship is really cool because they get to sleep in their own beds and don't have to get up and go anywhere. They are hosting the 6A area meet. So let me start with, at the end, if you're watching on TV, is Desiree Stevenson. I just found out she's a Coronado graduate.
Yes, sir.
Proud Coronado graduate. And she told me, we were talking a little bit about who she played for. I knew Charlene way back when I worked at the AJ. Pretty incredible battles between Coronado and Monterey when you played.
Yes, it was a big rivalry.
Yes, it was. I'm going to let her introduce her athletes, but I also want them to give to introduce themselves by voices. So, Desiree, take it away. Who did you bring with you here today?
I brought 3 out of 4 of my 4x1 today. Junior Meredith McSween. Brinkley is also a junior. And then one of my very few seniors this year, Scout Trumble.
And you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves by voice so folks will know who you are.
I'm Scout Trumble.
I'm Brinkley Coker.
I'm Meredith McSween.
And you guys all sort of sound a little bit different, so that helps. Sometimes we'll get guys in here and they all, you know how high school boys are. I was a high school boy once. I'm not casting any stones. They all sort of sound the same, so most of them. Coach mentioned not many seniors. Last year you guys had a lot of seniors. Took incredible strides with Stephanie Shortus, who I know Desiree knows well.
Yes.
And we talked about Jill Schneider riding off to the sunset. Well, Stephanie decided that was the right time for her to ride off into the sunset, but handed you a pretty good team, a pretty good group. We've got 3 of them sitting here. Desiree, taking over and getting to know these girls, when you realized this was a pretty good group, or when did you realize this was a pretty good group? You guys had a chance to do some things.
Last year I was at Odessa Permian, and then the year before that was at, Midland High.
So you saw.
So I've watched them run from afar since they were freshmen. And Coach Shortus has been a mentor of mine for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been coaching. And she's kind of the one that pushed me into track and field to begin with. And I think it was perfect timing. She felt as if it was perfect timing to step out. I mean, as a coach, you never feel as if you can. It's always maybe next year. And I think once, we had the conversation of me actually considering it and being something that hopefully would just be like a clean, transition, I think that's when she finally felt confident to leave such a good group of girls behind. And so it's a blessing for me, and Coach Shortus is still very much a part of these girls' lives and my conversations from day to day with how the program's running, and she works almost every meet that she can be a part of, and so it's been a big blessing to work with just such a good, I know it's cliche, no better group of girls, but you're not going to find a better group of people just as actual human beings that I've had the opportunity to coach and finally, get them to trust me a little bit. And we haven't had any hiccups. It's been a smooth ride since day one.
So I'll tell you guys the same thing I tell I'm a teenage girl dad myself. So when Coach is saying all that, I'm thinking, yep, you have to earn their trust. You have to get them to believe in you a little bit. I sort of buried the lead here a little bit. Friendship girls are not only going to the area meet this week, they won district and won it pretty handily against some teams that you knew pretty well coming in, which this was supposed to be sort of a transition year. So that caught my attention when I saw that. I want you guys to, I know you're part of the relay team that Coach mentioned, but list what events you're qualified for area in besides the relays.
I'm in the 4x1 and the 100 hurdles.
That's Meredith.
I'm in the 4x1, 4x2, triple jump, and long jump.
I'm in the 4x1, 100, and 4x4.
And the area meet's a little bit different because it's one day. It's all squeezed into one thing. So there's not 4 events, did you say?
Yes, sir.
3.
3. So you guys are going to be busy.
And I will say something, and Brinkley should be 5. We scratched her from the 200.
Okay.
We felt like it was, she and I, we talked, I talked with Coach Shortus. We felt like it was the best for our team, and 5 events on one day in a meet that already runs really quickly is just a lot. So just trying to preserve her for next week.
That's a mental adjustment, not just a physical adjustment, but you have to be ready. Since Coach mentioned you there, Brinkley, how tough would that be? Now, you're running 4. That's tough enough. How challenging is that going to be for you?
Yes, it's going to be tough, but we prepare ourselves and we train and practice that we know that we can compete on Friday, and we take care of our bodies. She's very good at getting us in the trainer, getting us to Norma Tech after practice, and just getting ready for Friday is what we do all week. So,
because I would think, unlike a regular meet where you can kind of go and sit down and decompress a little bit, that time's gone. It's quickly start thinking about what do I have to do, who are my competition, what I've got to do. Scout, we talked outside a little bit. You were a volleyball player.
I am.
One thing about Friendship athletes, I'm probably going to make some people mad. Friendship and Lubbock Cooper, and Desiree, you probably know what I'm talking about here because you grew up here, especially recently. You guys are so good at everything. The expectation, what you guys did in volleyball was incredible.
Yes,
Did
sir.
that carry over? I know it carried over into basketball because I got to know those girls. Did it carry over into the spring where that bar is really high? We want to go and achieve. We want to go do big things.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, the expectation for volleyball and track has always been very high of us.
And if Amy Mangum's listening, I'm sorry. You guys don't have to worry about playing the number 1 team in the state or in the country this week like you did in the area around in volleyball. That's a little bit different mountain to have to climb. At least track and field, the playing field is a little bit different. So area meet starts at what? Desiree, I'll let you take it from there. What time does stuff start on Friday out at Tiger Stadium?
We start at 10 a.m. with field events, and they're pretty staggered throughout the morning. We take a big lunch break, and then we start running at 4. And the upside for us hosting is I kind of got to create the schedule, and we've got the missing part of our 4x1, and she was running all 3 of her events in 45 minutes. And I said, okay, we cannot do that. We're going to have to stretch it out a little bit. So it's going to, put those El Paso teams back a little bit later than they probably want, but it's what's best for the girls. So
we'll come back and talk more about Friendship Track on the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta.
Bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Tiger Fan Zone. We are talking track because Friendship hosts the 6A area meet on Friday. You brought these 3 girls, Desiree, but how many athletes total for you guys qualified? And first, we're going to talk about the relays because I think the relays are like the essence of track because it kind of ties everything together. But how many athletes total for you guys?
we've got 17.
And what's that? How's that compare to last year when Stephanie had that
It's
team?
pretty comparable. We've got some holes in our hurdles, and then our distance team. I think that's probably our biggest weak spots from this year to last year. But I think we ran 25 at the district meet and qualified 17. So not too bad.
I used to be good at math. That's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah.
For each of you girls, I want you all to answer this because you're all on relay teams. What I said, why are relays such a cool part of track? Because that to me that's where you get to work with teammates. That's the most team aspect of track and field to me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Of course, all of our individual points go towards the team points, but relays are one of the only aspects that's truly a team sport. It requires 4 people to put in their work individually and together, and there's also more points that come with relays. And yeah, it doesn't rely on one person. Everyone has to trust each other, everyone has to work together, and it's all about being a team.
So I should let you do the math. Sounds like you're good at numbers.
I feel like it really sets the dynamic for the team. us three have all ran on these relays together since we were freshmen and she was sophomores, and the bond that we have kind of creates the bond for the whole team and shows them really what a team's supposed to look like. And I think that we've set a strong standard of what our team looks like just from us three having such a strong relationship, and I think it's special.
What about you, Meredith?
Yeah, the vibe for a relay is just different. The bond's stronger. It's a great way to connect with your teammates, and being out on the track with them and like praying before we go run and stuff. It's just really special.
Like I said, when you think of about a basketball team or volleyball team, it's like you said, you get together before. Instead of, I think the individual events, people are pumping you up, but you're also spending some time thinking to yourself what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at your schedule yet. Is the 4x100 start the afternoon session?
It does.
It's been a long time since I ran in a track meet. It seems like that's a good way to do exactly what they were talking about. That kind of lights the fuse for everybody, but it kind of sets a tone for everybody for the rest of the afternoon or the rest of the evening.
Once it's over, I can breathe.
It's definitely stressful.
It is. It's the best fun. It's the funnest race to watch, and it's the best way to start it off. And this crew has had a lot of success with it this year. They broke the school record a couple weeks back, and then broke their own record again. And so they've got the school record for the 4x1, running a mid 47. We'd like to end the year with the mid 47, and we've got the top seed coming in. And so, fastest group of girls I've worked with in a while.
Top seed is from where?
From our seed?
Yep.
From
you've got the. Okay,
you've got the top seed.
Because I was going to ask, who are some teams that you're looking at and saying, okay, this is who's going to push us as a team?
Right now, Franklin will probably be right there beside us, which will be nice because we haven't had much competition in that last 10, 20 meters of the 4x1. So
that's. You're including teams you used to coach again, or you used to coach,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I understood that correctly. What about you girls? Do you get into looking at who you're competing against individually, or do you just go out and do your thing? Since you two are in individual things, what you answer?
I think we do a little bit of both. We're constantly, eyeing mile split and seeing kind of what times people are running. Like, we looked at the other district and saw kind of where we were sitting, and it just kind of gives you a good idea. But at the same time, I think that a lot of the times we do kind of go into it blindly, just thinking about going out there and doing the very best that we personally can do.
Brinkley, you said you're in 2 jumps?
Yes. So I feel like that's a little different. I think I've jumped against most of these people for all 3 years, or at least recently. So I kind of know what I'm going against, and I know what people are going to do. I know who's going to push me and who I can go out there and get. So, but the relays, I feel like we kind of just go out there and we know what we can do.
Yep. You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things I saw was a couple years ago at the 5A regional. I can't remember the kid's name from Monterey, but just the competition within the competition, how cool that was. So, well, good luck, girls. I will be checking on you and see how you do and see how many of you guys get to go on the regional. So that wraps us up on the Tiger Fan Zone. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after that with the Pirate Fan Zone. This is 100.7 The Score. This is Randy Rosetta.